Hi guys, so I'm going to read Spectre number 1. So this will go in the 1960s DC Comics playlist and the Spectre playlist. So the Spectre, now in his own magazine, The Sinister Lives of Captain Skull. The Spectre, fighting an 18th century pirate on a 20th century battleground, proved troublesome enough. But fighting a pirate possessed of psychic powers staggered even the mighty Spectre. Unable even to touch the baleful buccaneer, lest he lose his own astral life, the ghostly guardian searched through time and space for the urgent and ultimate weapon to subdue the sinister lives of Captain Skull. Story Gardner Fox, and art by Murphy Anderson. Framed in the gun sight of a rifle is a man on whose life depends the peace of an entire world. With a cheerful smile, with an encouraging wave of the hand, American Ambassador Joseph Clinton is leaving to fly to the World Treaty meeting in Switzerland. Peace, peace, peace!
Good luck on your venture, Mr. Ambassador.
Finger squeezes trigger, and...
He's been shot! Without him to represent us, war is sure to break out. He's the only man the other side will negotiate with.
A tense world listens to the dread news. The war that the world has feared may have already been triggered off this afternoon by a mysterious assailant, who in turn was struck down by security guards. At this moment, Ambassador Clinton lies dying in Gateway City Hospital, for the bullet in his head is inoperable. In Gateway City Hospital, as you know, doctors, I've been experimenting with a new anesthetic, which may permit us to operate safely. It's never been fully tested. We have no other choice.
We must take the risk.
For 3 hours, Joseph Clinton hovers between life and death as the country's most brilliant surgeons fly scalpel and sutures until
the operation is over. All we can do now is hope and pray.
Suddenly, the operating room doors burst open.
Hoist anchor, ye lubbers! I'm charting my course right through you all! Who's he? How'd he get in there?
With the ferocious swings of his heavily muscled arms, he clears a path before him.
Dash my timbers! I must be in Fiddler's Green. Everything's so changed. Avast, ye swabs! Out of my way! I've got to haul in my lines and go about with the wind.
After the mysterious giant races off down the hall,
the ambassador! What's happened to him?
A little later, in another section of Gateway City, as Captain of Detectives Jim Corgan drives past a costume shop.
Stop, thief! He robbed my store of those pirate clothes.
Seems I've stumbled onto a sneak thief who... But wait! He fits the APB bulletin of the mysterious character rushed out of the operating room where Ambassador Clinton was operated on. Now he's stolen a pirate costume and is getting away in that car. Shh! With sirens screaming, Detective Corgan pursues the careening getaway car.
Wee, 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 shh. Halt! Roll fire! There's a land crab aft on my stern. Bah! I'll drop him by freshening the way.
Nautical term for increasing speed.
Got his tire. That'll bring him to a stop.
But, to the pop-eyed amazement of the police captain,
the tire reinflated itself, as if by magic. I have a hunch that this case is going to prove too big for any ordinary human being to handle. The Spectre sure picked a fine time to be off on a mission to one of those mystic realms of his.
Meet Jim Corgan, who died long ago, yet whose earthbound spirit, the Spectre, still roams the world, seeking out and eliminating evil in the name of good. Restored to life by the awesome powers granted, the Spectre, Jim Corgan, carries on as a two-fisted fighting detective, aided upon occasion by his astral alter ego.
He's stopping at that statue of Gateway City's Spanish-American war hero, Rough Rider Bucko Benjamin. Maybe I can still handle this on my own, but the way that tire inflated by itself convinces me I'm dealing with mystical forces here. Huh! What incredible strength! He's ripping those iron railings loose as if they were paper. But I've captured strong-arm guys before. Why, ye unmannerly swab, raise fist at Captain Skull, will ye? You're jarring me compass. So rigging your booms, and off with ye!
Even as he drops backward, the detective captain grips a brawny arm and...
You sound like somebody out of the past, so maybe you don't dig judo holds. Like this stomach throw, for instance. Swallow anchor, ye swee swabber! You're falling foul of me now!
You talk like a fugitive from a pirate movie, but I'll put a stop to your gab.
That's knocked the wind out of him. Now to clamp on the cuffs. This is going too far. He's levitating straight up into the air. I've got the range, you landsman. Now I'm coming aboard. If I had a deck under me boots, I'd keel-haul ye. Hang ye from the highest yardom. Instead, I'll square yards with ye a different way.
With every muscle quivering, the pirate rips the statue of the Rough Rider from its base.
I'll crush ye like I would a mosquito off the Hispaniola shore. Farewell, ye lubber.
Suddenly, from out of the ground alongside the fallen detective...
What's this? A ghostly hand, catching the statue as I fling it?
Next moment...
Billy! Tom Pepper himself couldn't have thought up something like this.
Who are you? What are you doing here in Gateway Park? Why did you attack Jim Corgan?
A legendary sailor, a teller of tall tales.
Answer me.
Captain Skull will answer ye shore loafer, with his boats!
The astral avenger quivers, enlarges his body to tenuous form.
Here's where I cut off, ye jib, and... Oh! What are you? A dredgy? The ghost of a drowned sailor?
I am your nemesis, whoever you are.
To the utter stupefaction of the ghostly guardian, even as the pirate hurtles through him,
by the horns of Capricorn, I sense a strange force radiating out of this Captain's skull. A force of such eerie quality that it weakens my own spectral power. I dare not let myself be touched by this puzzling pirate, lest his force destroy me. I've never come up against any such energy display as this. I must study it, find a way to counteract it. Maybe, with spectral luck, I can bash him into unconsciousness with this tree.
Brace yourself to go down to Davy Jones' locker, me fine bucko. By this landing party of one.
His cutlass twirling like the blades of a propeller, the bruising buccaneer hacks the tree to firewood.
He ripped that hope to shreds. Where'd he come from? How'd he ever acquire those awesome energies? His blade's filled with the same energy as his body. If it so much as scratches me, I'm a gone ghost. But two can play this game of deadly duel.
A spectral sword materializes in the gloved hand of the astral avenger, turns a slash with cunning parry.
Shh! It won't do me any good to increase my size, for a mere pinprick would release that destructive force throughout my ectoplasmic being. To make matters worse, just as I can't let him touch me, so am I unable to touch him without destroying myself.
Abruptly and amazingly,
Avast ye, swab! I wasted enough time with ye. I'll fashion another cutlass to do my work for me.
He created an energy double of his sword, wielding it by remote control.
Leaving the ghostly guardian to fight for his astral life, Captain Skull pushes aside the base of the statue.
What's he up to?
With his bare hands acting like shovels, the baleful buccaneer digs into the ground.
Now to see if my sea chest is still where I left it. All ship's shape. Nobody's laid finger to my money casket.
He's dug up an old-time treasure chest. Can it be that this pirate lived before? That he is the reincarnation of a former buccaneer? That he has been transformed out of his time element? Can't stop him from getting away. If I divert my attention from this energy-filled cutlass, it will demolish me. Got to come up with some trick to evade it, overcome it.
Hurling his sword at the self-fighting cutlass, the ghostly guardian dives at the fallen statue of the Rough Rider.
The pirate's sword is conditioned to fight me, but if it doesn't see me, it'll be unable to do so.
As the cutlass hangs helplessly in midair,
materialize myself inside the statue without that enemy sword being aware of it. I'll activate the statue and use its sword to shatter the corsair's cutlass. Shh! Now there's nothing to stop me from tracking down that pirate. How to stop him is another problem.
Though the ghostly guardian hunts far and wide,
no sign of him. It's as if he vanished off the face of the earth. Might as well go back to my other self, Jim Corgan, and match notes with him about this mysterious visitor to Gateway City.
Moments afterward, when Jim Corrigan and the Wonder Wraith have exchanged stories,
Ambassador Clanton, an untested anesthetic. The sudden appearance of the pirate in the hospital. Odd, but I have the feeling that this puzzling pirate may well be the ambassador himself.
I'm ready to believe anything, but how can you make sure?
By visiting the astral dimensions, where are to be found the answers to many perplexing problems.
And so, in that mystic realm to which he alone can travel, as you know, Earth Spirit, a person's psychic self may reappear in the body of a descendant as a reincarnation.
When that anesthesia was applied to Joseph Clanton, it released the psychic spirit of an ancestor, Captain Skull. Wretched out of time, the pirate's psychic soul became inundated by megacyclic forces as it traveled to reach the ambassador's body.
Displaced in time, roused to life where he lay latent with Joseph Clanton, the reincarnated spirit of Captain Skull had become so powerful it was able to transform the ambassador's features to that of Captain Skull's.
Unfortunately, Not even your spectral power can stop the mega-cyclic power possessed by Captain Skull. Yet, unless he is defeated, he will become a modern-day pirate, and loot and steal without hope of anyone stopping him. And unless you exorcise Captain Skull from Ambassador Clanton's body, war will erupt on Earth.
On this same night, in the dusty archives of the Gateway City Library, I found several references to a real Captain Skull, who lived between 1710 and 1764, who robbed and looted in the ship Bonnie Venture in the Caribbean Sea and off the Carolina coast.
Listen to what I found out in the astral dimensions.
Next day, on a special jet plane carrying a shipment of diamonds.
But Pete, am I seeing things? A pirate? At 50,000 feet? Strike your colours, you swabs! I'm about to scuttle ye, unless you obey his orders. He's running towards us, on empty air. Stow the gob, you lubbers. Bash me binnacles. If ye don't do as I say, I'll carve my name on your ship's hull.
Before mega-cyclic cutlass can touch airplane metal,
maybe I can rock that pirate to sleep.
Shiver my timbers. It's that dredgy I fought before. Sheer off, before I jam your compass.
But when the rocky weapons are separated,
swoggle me eyes. You've got me climbing the rigging, mate. So it's firing a broadside I am.
Nautical term for losing one's temper, which is rigging. Out of the pirate's sword erupts a volley of cannonballs.
I'll bring your topsails clattering down about your ears.
I can sense that those cannonballs are filled with deadly mega-cyclic energy. They must not touch me.
Sweeping his cape as would a matador to ward off a bull charge,
I'll create a vast wind current with my cloak, blow the cannonballs off to one side. And now I'll use my cloak to whip up a tremendous vortex of astral power.
Belay there! What sinister trick do you have in mind now, you swab?
Aye, what strange plan does the ghostly guardian have hidden up his spectral sleeve? Story continues on 4th page following. Around and around, faster and faster, whips the spectral cloak, setting in flux the mystic energies of time and space.
I'm being pulled into the vortex!
Yes, Captain Skull, into a maelstrom created by the explosion of spectral powers.
Backward in time swirls the buccaneer, through days, months, years, accompanied by the ghostly guardian.
I cannot escape this time tornado. It holds and grips me like a magnet.
I need not touch you to force you back into your own era, Captain Skull.
Until the flow of time snaps to a halt.
We are in the year 1751, the very moment in time and space that you buried the treasure of your Bonnie Venture into the sands of what is destined to be Gateway City. Now, with ripples from my cloak, I shall expel your evil spirit from the body of the man you usurped, back into your real body, and so end this noxious nightmare.
Belay all this. It's high time I threw out my anchor to windward. Protect myself.
With lightning speed, the transmigrated spirit of Captain Skull bursts free of its fleshly bonds, glowing with mega-cyclic energy, which fuels the time funnel.
He has abandoned the body of the ambassador. Without Skull's spirit inside it, Joseph Clanton's inert body is changing back to its original shape and form.
Once more the whirlpool of years begins to rotate.
By accelerating his megacyclic energy, he is causing the time vortex to whirl faster, taking us both farther back in time.
Aye, you swab. If you'd marooned me in my own time period, I'd have lost all the stupendous powers I now possess.
As the megacyclic energies slacken, the spirit being of the pirate darts out.
I lived here, centuries ago, when I was the robber baron, Sir Guy the Cruel.
What does he hope to accomplish in this time era?
Sir Guy the Cruel and his band have laid siege to the castle of Lady Aline.
I shall enter into my ancestral body, take control over it. Retaining all my megacyclic powers, I'll make myself the richest, most powerful man of this age.
Swiftly, the features of the robber baron change into the facial structure of the time-displaced Captain Skull.
With my newfound abilities, I can roam back and forth across time, become the conqueror of ages. Fire your castles at yonder castle.
But, Sir Guy, not even our catapults could damage its firm walls. What good can me arrows do?
Ye foul swab, do as I order ye.
A changed man he be. Must do as he says.
Then, as the shafts are loosed,
Aye, those arrows go through solid stone walls. Sir Guy must have hired a witch to work spells for him. Perhaps we had better surrender.
the astral avenger has been a fascinated but helpless witness to what has taken place.
Filled as he is with megacyclic energy, I still dare not make personal contact with him. Yet, I must not let him pillage here. How odd that in two of his previous existences, as Captain Skull and as the robber baron Sir Guy, such a good man as Joseph Clanton had been evildoers. In his own time, world peace depends on our ambassador. I must not fail the people who count on him.
Below him, the war sword of Sir Guy lifts to denote the charge.
Forward! This may be the only chance I'll get to surprise him. So,
A ray of brilliant sunlight is reflected off the surface of the metallic blade.
charge!
Next instant, that sunbeam strikes downward, momentarily blinding the armed mercenary behind Sir Guy.
Concealed in this sunbeam as I am, not even Captain Skull can suspect my presence.
Thus, as the mailed and armored might of the robber baron thunders behind him, in the charge, one of his warriors is the Spectre.
At the right moment, I must strike, and strike hard. I get one opportunity and no more.
Even as Sir Guy senses victory, the disguised Spectre lifts his war mace and,
Since Sir Guy infused the weapons of his followers with megacyclic energy, as witness what those arrows did, this enchanted battle mace should stun him into helplessness. Fortunately, he made the weapons safe for his followers to handle. Having touched that megacyclic energy in its weakened state, I can now grasp the energy, spirit, of Captain Skull without harm. Yank it out of Sir Guy's body.
gripping the spirit of Captain Skull, the Spectre darts into the vortex, which is flattened into the shape of a massive wheel.
Though I'm able to touch him in his weakened state, the mega-psychic energy in him will soon increase again, become too strong for me to cope with. So I must quickly thrust him into his own time period.
Even as the astral avenger and his quarry are caught up in the inexorable bands of time,
he is already recovering, glowing with power.
Aye, you swab, and now I'll escape ye forever by going back even further into the past.
Through the temporal corridor flashes the psyche of Captain Skull, until
the wicked Emperor Commodus, who fought as a gladiator in the Colosseum of Rome, also was my ancestor, and I shall enter his body.
Once again, I must find a way to drive him out of an ancestral tyrant.
As Commodus stabs forward with a deadly thrust, and Aretarius hurls his net, a gladiator fought with a net and trident.
As Emperor, I control the lives and deaths of all my people. Die, greatest of all net and trident warriors.
I need not touch Commodus to do what must be done.
From the sky above the city of Rome, the discarnate detective pulls down a lightning bolt.
The electricity will shock Commodus, force out the spirit of Captain Skull, make weak enough for me to hold on to it. Here we go again, Captain Skull, back to your own time and age.
Never! I'll flee into one body, and then another, until I have conquered.
Instantly, for time is of no duration within the wheel of time, the spirit of evil, the evil pirate, takes refuge in the body of Paris, Prince of Troy, as he is abducting Helen.
You shall not beat me now, Spectre.
No, not yet. I must bide my time until...
And while the ghostly guardian returns into the time wheel,
I have slain the Greek hero Achilles. Alone I shall make Troy greatest of all cities. Trojan men shall conquer and rule the world.
Then, out of the time wheel, stabs the finger of the Spectre. Deep into the ground it plunges as...
I grow faint from some strange poison in the air.
Neither
Paris nor Captain Skull knows anything of natural gas. It is numbing Paris, long enough for the arrow from the bow of Philoctetes to overcome him, as history has recorded.
Dragged back into the time vortex, Captain Skull's spirit summons up the very motes of time, hurls them at the astral avenger.
For me to exist, I must end your existence, Spectre.
Those motes, filled with power beyond all imagining, could rend and rip my spectral being into nothingness.
Ha 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 ha! I have summoned up cosmic winds to add to the fury of the motes. As the motes seek you apart, the winds will blow you in all directions, scattering you hither and yon.
That's no ideal boast.
As the terrible cosmic tides wash through him, the ghostly guardian summons up all the eldritch powers that reside with his body. Upward he stretches, until the solar system is but a speck below him.
To save myself, I must fight fire with fire.
Millions, billions of light years into space reaches the astral avenger, until he touches the heart of a quasar.
Here between the galaxies lie the quasars, source of radio wave energy, megacyclic power. I shall bathe in that power, which, if not directed by a malignant mind, cannot harm me.
In the wink of an eyelid, the colossal form of the discarnate detective retracts, returns to normal, and...
Now that I'm filled with megacyclic energy, I can touch you. And will I ever touch you, Captain Skull? Hit him with the precise punch power to send him into his original body.
Next instant,
at last, he's trapped in his own body, deprived of his megacyclic powers, where he'll live out his destined lifespan as a pirate.
Then, for the final time, the ghostly guardian plunges into the time vortex.
When the spirit of Captain Skull abandoned Joseph Clanton, the ambassador's body returned to its own form. And because of that energy spirit within him, his body was healed of its wound.
Some days later, in Jim Corrigan's apartment in Gateway City,
in his previous incarnations, Joseph Clanton served the forces of evil.
But today, thanks to fate or providence, he has served as an ambassador of good.
And that's the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. If you have any requests you want me to do, just let me know in the comments, and I'll tell you when I can do the request. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.